guys? This is the Comic Guy, and I'm here again just for you guys. Today's topic on my podcast is gonna be all about Marvel, 20th Century Fox, and everything that has been going on in the last 16 years, and what are my predictions. Well, not my predictions, but things that I feel that should be happening in the movie, in the Marvel Fox universe. And if you guys don't know, the Marvel Fox universe pretty much extends with X-Men, Daredevil, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, Wolverine movies, and that's pretty much what they have under their belt. And I just want to touch a little bit on that because Marvel Studios right now is kicking ass. Straight out, I was gonna tell you, they've been kicking ass since 2008. For the last 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so for the last 6, 7 years, Marvel Studios been really kicking ass. And at first, Marvel Fox Studios were actually the top superhero producing movies way back when. For the last 16 years, and then suddenly it just started going downhill for them. So I just want to touch up on that because for me it's important. I'm a big comic fan. I'm a big movie fan, and seeing the superheroes in the movie dynamic is something that I've been wishing for the last since I was a kid, and just having them in real life is like a dream come true. So let's start with this topic. So Marvel 20th Century Fox. Let's touch base on that. Since the 2000, they started off with X-Men. That was the first movie they actually did, and it was awesome. I mean, I was so amazed at that point in time in year 2000 when they came out with X-Men. I mean, they brought us some of my favorite characters. They brought Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean Grey, Storm, Rogue, Sabretooth, Magneto, Professor X. I mean, those. I grew up with them. I grew up watching the X-Men animated series, and I pretty much grew up with all of them. So seeing them in real life was like a dream come true for me at that time of year 2000. But I was looking at the story, and the story it wasn't the same as what we were used to. But we let it go, and it was totally awesome. Great reviews for me at that time. There were a couple things in those movies that I didn't really agree with. Starting off with Wolverine and Sabretooth not knowing each other, the way Rogue manifested her powers, and pretty much how the story went on. And then they started evolving. And then 3 years later, they come out with X-Men 2 Unlimited, and they show a little bit more people in more mutants, like Bobby, Iceman, Kitty. They start showing a lot more of those characters. That we grew up and we watched. That started off a lot of the at the end. Started off with the kind of like Signs of the Phoenix and all this craziness that went through the movie. And then Fox went ahead in that same year, they brought out Daredevil. That was Ben Affleck debut as a superhero. They brought Daredevil. And it was a pretty good movie, I have to say. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually liked it. The origin was on point. It was a real good movie. So it was a movie that I actually liked. And then they did the spin-off with Elektra. That was okay. It wasn't like the best movie ever, but it was worth watching. And then a couple years later, actually in 2005, they brought in the Fantastic Four, and that was amazing. Having Mr. Fantastic stretching out the way he did, the Human Torch, the Thing that actually looked more like the Thing, And the Invisible Woman was pretty awesome. I mean, Jessica Alba, she was hot, so it doesn't really matter. Um, and then a year later, they brought back X Men Last Stand. That was like the Phoenix, well, pretty much like a Phoenix story, and how they wanted to divide mutants and humans and let them register, kind of that sort of situation. And then, and I didn't really, that started showing a little bit more mutants in there, Beast and Angel and Juggernaut, and it started showing a little bit more of mutants and what Fox was capable of doing in X Men Last Stand. And then they I would say a year later, they came out with Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I thought that was a pretty awesome movie. I freaking loved it. I love how Silver Surfer looked in that movie, and it was a freaking awesome. And you know how they brought Galactus. It was just an amazing movie, and I really liked that. I really liked that movie. That movie was actually better than part one, and it was great. And then 2 years later, they came back and did X Men Origins, Wolverine. Everybody thinking it was going to be very different. It was going to be more based on how Wolverine and pretty much on Wolverine's story, and it did a lot of things did change. What I didn't like about that movie, and I can honestly tell you, if you go back to 9 years earlier in X Men, I don't know if they forgot what they did. They should always go back to the original movies and see what they did. What it did was in X Men in the year 2000, Wolverine and Sabretooth didn't really know each other. Came back to X Men Origins, Wolverine and Sabretooth kind of knew each other. They were friends and then they were enemies. And that started off that rivalry between Sabretooth and Wolverine. That, if you guys know, is true in the comic books. They don't really get along with each other. For some obvious reasons, they didn't get along, and then that's when they introduced Deadpool, and that was horrible. That was horrible. I have to say, Deadpool, it was horrible. And then after that, they decided to kind of like reboot the X-Men, and they go back to like 1960s and did X-Men First Class. Bringing on the first X-Men. First of all, the first X-Men were not the ones that were in the movie. The first X-Men were actually Professor X, of course, Cyclops, Jean Grey, that was Miss Marvel at that time, Beast, Angel, and Iceman. They were the original X-Men that first started the whole thing. And then what they did was actually let me hold up a minute. Let me go back to X-Men Origins. Wolverine. One thing that I did not like was that in First Class, Professor X got shot in the back, and that's how he became paralyzed, and he was using wheelchairs. In X-Men Origins, at the end of the movie, he saved the mutants. He saved Cyclops. He saved all the mutants that were there, that used all their powers to create that crazy Deadpool wannabe thing. So at the end of the movie, here comes Professor X walking as Patrick Stewart. All the young X-Men went in there, and he took off with them. And then Wolverine went off, and he got shot in the head with a adamantium bullet, and that's why he lost his memory. Then First Class, they went back to 1960s. Yet again, they made another mistake in that movie. Like I said before, the original X-Men, who they were, they brought out Scott Summers' brother, Havoc, Banshee, I'm trying to think of the names, but I can't really think right now because that really it really bothered me. And then he got and then Beast at least Beast was one of the originals, and they had him in there, and that pretty much changed because at one point they went to recruit Wolverine, that yet Professor X was young and he was walking with Magneto, and then Wolverine pretty much told him to fuck off. And then after 2011, that's when the First Class came out, and it was pretty good movie. I just didn't like the dynamic what they did, bringing separate mutants into that movie when they should have stuck by something more original. And then 2013, the Wolverine came out. Yet again, Hugh Jackman surprised his role as Wolverine. He did awesome. It was actually a real good movie, a real good action-based movie, but it was a story they pretty much created on them. After that, 2014 came Days of Future Past. They sent Wolverine from the future, his mind, send him back to like 1960 something, 1970s, I believe, to help out Professor X and the Sentinel thing, the whole that situation, and that pretty much was like, and it was a good base movie because it did happen in the comic books, but not the way they also show it on the movies. So that kind of pretty much changes. Then they went ahead last year, 2015. They went ahead and did Fantastic Four, the reboot. Completely flopped on that. Okay, they changed the whole dynamic, the whole origin of everything that we know about Fantastic Four. They went and changed everything. The Thing, I don't know. It wasn't really an attractive movie that attracted me to that movie. I saw it because I had to see it because I'm a big fan, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh wow, they did a Fantastic Four movie reboot off the books. Then this year, in the beginning of this year, they came out with Deadpool. And what can I say? They broke the rules. Rated R. Ryan Reynolds did freaking awesome. I love how they got the Deadpool that we know in the comic books and brought him into real life, breaking that fourth wall. Everything about Deadpool was on point. It was a great movie, rated R, just like it's supposed to be. It was totally awesome. Then they went ahead and did X-Men Apocalypse. Yet again, the whole dynamic, it was the 80s on that timeline on that movie. And they brought in like Nightcrawler. They brought in and then you could see that how they trying to, back in Days of Future Past, they got the cast from the original X-Men and put in them with the new X-Men. So that timeline kind of changed. But back when in 2006 when they did X-Men Last Stand, well, I think it's X2, X2 or X-Men Last Stand, they had Nightcrawler. No, actually X2 they had Nightcrawler. And then they go back to X-Men Apocalypse, and then they have Nightcrawler there as a younger that he was in X-Men. So that's kind of like, what are you guys doing? You guys are messing up with this timeline, and you guys are really messing up the X-Men timeline really, really bad. A lot of people did not like it. I mean, I don't know if people noticed. Pretty much, whoever started watching the X-Men from First Class, then they were like, oh, that's cool. But if you started watching X-Men like me, that I've been watching X-Men since the year 2000, then you understand the whole timeline kind of like messed up everything they did with the X-Men universe. So then going back to Deadpool, and the Deadpool universe, I say it was in his own universe, but he brought in X-Men. He brought in Colossus. He brought in a teenage girl Warhead, whatever the hell her name was. They brought the X-Men in, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome. So there is X-Men in the Deadpool universe, not just the X-Men that they did. And then the last movie that they're doing right now is Logan, that they actually did that rated R, and the last Hugh Jackman movie, huge movie as Wolverine. That is the last time we're gonna see him as Wolverine. They bring in Patrick Stewart back, Professor X, older of course, and they're introducing X-23 into the whole mix. And if you guys don't know who X-23 is actually a clone of. Hold on a second. Is a clone of Wolverine. And they're gonna introduce her in that movie. So that's gonna be pretty cool because it's gonna be a rated R movie. So I know there's gonna be a lot of cursing and a lot of good action in that movie. But now they're already talking. Then now they're doing Deadpool 2, and they had some problem with Tim Miller. He left, and they now David Leitch, the director of John Wick, took the helm of Deadpool 2, and they're going forward. They're bringing Cable into that movie, and that movie hasn't even started filming, and they're already talking about Deadpool 3, and they're gonna bring X-Force, and that's pretty awesome if Fox does that, bringing X-Force into the mutant world of Deadpool universe. The thing is, that pretty much X-Force, let's just say X-Force is a rated R version of X-Men. Pretty much sums up. And they also talking about the New Mutants. Now, they also talking about rebooting X-Men. Now, if they could go ahead and reboot, me personally, I say hold up on rebooting X-Men and concentrate on Deadpool 2, Deadpool 3, X-Force, and New Mutants. Concentrate on those movies first. If you are going to do a reboot of X-Men, make sure you reboot it into the Deadpool world. They reintroduced X-Men in the Deadpool world because he's really, really good, close with X-Men. Introduce the X-Men into that world, and make sure that you bring some of the ones that we actually want to see. Fine, I know that you have to probably recast Wolverine if you bring them, and it will be pretty cool if they do a Deadpool Wolverine. But if not, keep in mind that don't change what you think you should reboot it and make a whole universe, pretty much like Marvel Studios did. Keep that whole universe together, and guaranteed that you're gonna have your fans come back to Fox, in that X-Men universe or Deadpool universe or whatever kind of universe you want, the mutant universe. Okay, just make sure that if they do that it's gonna bring back a lot of people, because everybody knows who X-Men is. Everybody knows what they do. If they do that, they're actually going to be great. It's actually going to come out way better in that universe and keep that all intact. But that's pretty much what I think they should do. They could in that universe they could also bring Fantastic Four, so they could have a massive universe if they do it correctly. You know what they need to do is get in contact with some of the Marvel writers that write the comic books and go and bring them into the movies. Make it all together, and I guarantee that you are going to boost up your ratings on all the movies that you guys are going to do. That Fox is going to do. And I guarantee, like I said, I guarantee this is going to bring back so many fans back into the X-Men universe. That's going to be cool. And plus, you already got, as you can see right here, they were precise on his costume. On Deadpool costume, it looked just like Deadpool. So if you bring back some of the Wolverine X-Men, bring back those costumes as real life as you can, and I guaranteed that you are gonna have the fans come back. You are gonna have me 100% because I love that universe. I know that you guys don't want to mix the Fox and the Marvel. Marvel, they try to get X-Men from you, and they're trying to get a Fantastic Four from you. And Fox was like, no, we're not going to give you the rights for any Fantastic Four or X-Men. Oh, fine. Keep them. You want to keep them. But just make sure you make the movies correct. That's pretty much that's what fans of us, comic fans, pretty much that's what we're asking for. Just keep it the way it should be, and I guarantee you're going to have a lot of fans come back. I mean, Marvel Studios is doing great with their stories. They pretty much keeping a lot of track of what the comic books are. And I guarantee that you guys could do the same, but it's all up to you guys. Fox, come on. If you are going to do that with X-Men reboot, bring them into the Deadpool world, get that universe settled, and I guarantee you are going to have... I mean, you already got fans coming back just because of Deadpool and now because of Logan, and I guarantee you guys going to have so many more fans if you do the movies correctly. But you don't have to take my advice, but please take the comic fans, take our advice, and we'll guarantee that you are gonna boom in your ratings, and you guys are gonna get back in the map. And I guarantee it. But guys, that's pretty much what I really wanted to talk about. I just wanted to express my feelings on that. Yet again, guys, I always want to say thank you to all you guys out there that watch my videos. Make sure you guys press like, leave comments below. I guarantee I always will answer you back on any other comments. Make sure you subscribe, pass forward, share my videos. Let me be known. And again, guys, this is the Comic Guy, and I'll see you guys later.